220. We're going to try number 224. Let Christmas Come. It's a lovely melody by Rafe Vaughan Williams. Number 224. Let's go to 235. Deck the hall with boughs of holly. 235.
Good morning. Welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill Unitarian Universalist. I am Michelle Itano, a member of the Worship Associates Ministry. I especially want to welcome any visitors or newcomers to our church and to call your attention to the special note for you, welcome guests and newcomers on the backside of the order of service. I would also like to welcome those of you attending online. Lyrics to hymns and all elements of the service may be found on the screen, and a complete order of service, including this weekend's announcements, are available via the link on the Sunday morning email and also on the church's website. Our in-person Sunday social is held immediately following the service and is especially festive this week So please turn off or silence any cell phones now during our service to maintain a worshipful experience. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. We will now hear from Rick Szymanski about our Share the Plate from Interfaith Council for Social Services.
Good morning. Wouldn't it be nice if we could click our heels 3 times and be transported to a new reality where the abundance of love and humility best described our State of the Union? Needless to say, we are definitely not living in such a place. Rather, we have to deal with an unbelievable mess. Perhaps the most unbelievable of all is the fact that in a country of astonishing overall wealth, food insecurity is now a major concern for over 40 million people, and this includes many from Orange County. Because of funding uncertainties for the SNAP program, many organizations have mobilized to address the current and expected increase in demand for both groceries and hot prepared meals, but no local organization plays such a vital role as the Interfaith Council for Social Services, the IFC. The numbers speak for themselves. For fiscal 2024-25, the IFC Community Kitchen, which is located here in Carrboro, provided over 60,000 hot meals, and the community market dispensed over 12,000 bags of groceries. Even though the government shutdown ended, demand for food services from the IFC remains high and will likely increase in the short and long term. The threat of another government shutdown in January is very real, and significant reductions in SNAP benefits are planned for the future. As you probably know, the IFC also provides other much-needed services. For example, it operates the only shelters in our county for people experiencing homelessness, but I decided to focus on hunger because of the present situation and because food is the most basic and essential human need. Any donation, both financial and we also collect non-perishable items in the community room, will be greatly appreciated, perhaps now more than ever. Thank you.
Now please stand and body your spirit for our opening hymn, number 225 in the gray hymnal, O Come, Emmanuel.
For those of you who read music, we're going to be doing it the way we all know it and not the way it's written in the hymnal. You'll understand when we get there.
And with your captive children to render every act of prayer. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come with his throne to dwell.
Come into this place, greened and garlanded and wreathed. Come into this place, the lights have been lit. Come into this place, the halls have been decked. Come into the season. Enter into this season of hope, despite the worries and anxieties of our world. Enter into this season of peace, despite the reality of war and militarization. Enter into this season of love, despite the calls to harden our hearts. Enter into this season of joy, especially in this time when joy can be hard to find. Come, let us worship together. This morning is the second Sunday of Advent, and this morning we light the first 2 candles of the Advent wreath, for hope and for peace. You will find the words for the chalice lighting in your order of service. If you wish to do so, please join me in reading them. Into this home, we bring our hunger for awakening. We bring compassionate hearts and a will toward justice. Into this home, we bring the courage to walk on after hard losses. Into this home, we bring our joy and gratitude for ordinary blessings. By our gathering, we bless this place. In its shelter, we know ourselves blessed.
Unfortunately, the information about the pieces we're doing today didn't make it into the order of service, so I'm going to tell you about it now. This first piece we're doing, I put my glasses somewhere. Did you see them anywhere? Did they fall off?
These are progressive.
Oh, really? Okay. This first one is called, it's a serious piece. It's called Choose Something Like a Star. There's a poem. Wow, these are strange. Oh, progressive, okay. I went to the optometrist for the first time in my life last week, and I ended up pretty good. Anyway, it's Choose Something Like a Star. The words are by a poem from Robert Frost, and the music is by Randall Thompson. And this poem is about a star, clearly, and it's about staying steadfast and in the midst of difficult times and change to take the advice of a star and be steadfast and stayed. And it talks about Keats's eremite. Eremite is Keats wrote a poem where he references eremite, which is Greek for hermit, and it's a metaphor of the star as a hermit in the sky, by itself, keeping to its own business while all the craziness goes around it. Here's a little bit of the poem. And steadfast as Keats' eremite, not even stooping from its sphere, it asks a little of us here. It asks of us a certain height. So when at times the mob is swayed to carry praise or blame too far, we may choose something like a star to stay our minds on and be stayed. Thanks.
Each week, we hold in our service a time for sharing the joys and the sorrows that we bring with us into this community. It's during this time, if you've come with either a significant personal joy or sorrow, that you're invited to come forward down one of the side aisles, say your name, place a stone in the water, and briefly in a sentence or two, share your joy or your sorrow. Let us enter into this time of tenderness and trust.
My name is Bill Rote, and on behalf of the Worship Associates Ministry at our church, I want to express our collective joy and gratitude for everyone who showed up for the greeting, the chili dinner, and the carol singing.
I'm Melisande Timblin. That stone is for Tim Woody, a long-term member of the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Hillsborough, of which we were members for more than 10 years. I know a lot of you have connections. He was involved in a terrible hiking accident last week. He fell more than 25 feet and broke his ankles and feet very badly. He was hiking alone and was able to crawl out of the woods. He is alive. He was in surgery for 10 hours on Friday. So if we can send love and support to him and his wife and children.
Hi, I'm Mandy. This is my husband, Ed. And we placed a stone today for our daughter, Hudson, who died in 2010 at the age of 17 months from a really sudden bacterial infection. But she would have celebrated her 17th birthday on Monday, which is just incredible. And at the same time, on that day, we volunteer with an organization that breeds and raises and trains its own service dogs. And the mama dog that we host actually had her final litter of puppies on our daughter's birthday, which we all, and my other kids, thought was really special. And then the only other thing I'll say, I told everyone a couple of weeks ago that my 40-year-old nephew had gone into rehab for a pill addiction after a really bad overdose with complications, but he's being released today, and I'm going to go pick him up and take him to his transitional housing, and he's going to be starting from scratch, so just keep him in your thoughts. Thanks.
My name is Tiviba. I use they, them pronouns. After getting gender-affirming top surgery in October, I'm finally able to pick up my 3-year-old again.
My name is Stacy Brower, and 2 years. I got to tell about my close colleague who had a stillbirth 2 years ago, but my joy is she had a happy baby naturally last week. So she's very happy to finally have a baby after 5 miscarriages and a stillbirth.
Good morning, I'm Kathy Putnam, and I would just like to thank the generosity of this congregation for all the donations of PJs and gift cards for the women at the shelter at Homestar. Bonnie did a lot of work getting ready for this, and I'm sure everything will be appreciated by them. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Alfredo Rivera. I have 3 reasons to be here. They're a little bit delayed, but in the Thanksgiving week, as a family, we get to celebrate Ella's, our little one, birthday. She turned 5 years old. and Fernanda, who she turned 35 years and 84 months. After 35 years, we stopped counting years and we just do months. And the final stone is an appreciation for the community. I'm gonna take the license since I'm a Hispanic. We've been struggling a lot, and we've been working together with Fernanda with a lot of Hispanic families, and we see everything that is going on. And from Reverend Thom and that couple of words that you shared all the time, and the real action of people in the streets, carrying food or helping when they see a black truck full of bad people around. So thank you, everyone, for all the support for the Hispanic community.
My name is Maureen O'Rourke. Today is the anniversary of Shannon's memorial service. Shannon did this service with the help of Jay McKinney, and it is the first memorial service that I went to that ended with the joke. And that's because Shannon wanted to give to us her gratitude for being here. And so let's have joy for this season, for those around us that we've lost and that we care still so very much for. Thank you.
A final stone is placed for all the joys and the sorrows that we hold in our hearts that were not spoken this morning. So I want to invite us into the spirit of prayer and meditation in just a moment. Before we do that, I believe in kind of giving credit when I sort of steal somebody's bright idea. On Friday night, my family and I went to one of the auditoriums over at Duke to hear Taylor Mack doing a drag Christmas spectacular known as Holiday Sauce, and which was completely irreverent and absolutely beautiful and truth-telling. And one of the recurring lines in this show was, "As the sun gives less, the heart gives more." Now, as I prayed, I'm not going to pray it wearing a giant dress in the shape of banana split with a cherry on top of the hat. I asked to borrow it, but no, it would not do well. But I think I'm going to share that beautiful refrain with you. Let us enter into the spirit of prayer and meditation. During this season, as the weather turns, as the days continue to grow shorter, as the night grows longer, we reflect upon our own human condition, the ability that we have to respond to love. As the sun gives less, the heart gives more. We open our hearts this day to each person in our community holding grief, remembering loss, facing challenges. We open our hearts to those who are persecuted, who feel alone. We open our hearts in joy for each gift, for each child, for each person, living the truth of their lives, and living care for those around them and for this larger world. As the light gives less, our hearts give more. In this busy time, we give compassion to ourselves when we are distracted or overwhelmed. We give compassion to one another, knowing the truth that for no one is life easy. And we extend that compassion to each person in our community. Let us hold a moment of silence as we connect to the prayers of our own hearts, as we connect to the joys and the sorrows of this community, and as our heart, giving more, expands to consider and to serve and to care for the wider world. I invite you to hold with me a time of silence. Amen, and blessed be. And when the weather turns a little chilly, I get to say thanks for being able to choose this hymn, Dark of Winter, number 55 in the hymnal. It is a lullaby, and we sing it to each other and to ourselves. We'll remain seated as we sing together number 55.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly. And when my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal, gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me. And let my soul may hear a voice, a blessed voice of the eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
Our reading this morning is by Unitarian Universalist minister Reverend Jane Jepka. It comes from a sermon she delivered while she was serving a congregation in Massachusetts. It was originally delivered as part of a fundraising sermon, which is not what this morning's sermon will be. For the sermon, Reverend Jepka went back and read through the dusty records of the church from the 1930s and shared what she found. She writes, "In the 1930s, of course, times were tough. At that time, our church members were accustomed to pledging either 25 cents a week, 50 cents, or $1. During the 1929 to 1930 church year, all of the church members fulfilled their pledges of $13, $26, or $52. But as the Depression began, our ledger books began to show tiny numbers at the bottom of each page. 5 cents, $2, $12, and then a little S. 5 cents short of the pledge, $12 short. Just what one would expect. But imagine this. Imagine that more numbers appear at the bottom of the ledger. $4, $8, $7, 30 cents, and after these numbers, the tiny letter O. $4 over the pledge, 80 cents over. I can find no evidence of a special appeal from the governing board, no trace of public discussion, only the quiet generosity of the people of our church. I read a lot of historical materials this week, but nothing touched me more than the dusty ledger book from the 30s from high up on a shelf. In our church during the Depression, for every pledge that had fallen short, one of the many generous people overpaid his or her pledge to compensate. I love the history of this church. Gandhi was never a member. Mother Teresa never belonged either. Just regular folks. They dedicated their babies, they worshiped, they reached out to do their part in the world, they cared for one another. They kept this place going. They tried to live their best lives.
Freely have we received gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. Today, our generosity extends beyond our walls as we give to today's Share the Plate, Interfaith Council for Social Services. If you wish to donate online, there is a QR code on the back of the order of service, and there's information on the church's website. If you are writing a check, please make it out to the church and write STP for Share the Plate in the memo line. We will now receive the morning offering.
I'm going to tell you about this piece we're doing now. I found my glasses. First, I want to thank Kristen Trangsrud for playing piano with Ariana today so we can have a piano four hands for this piece. This is called Choose to Bless the World. The words are from a poem by Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker that we actually said, I think, at a service a few weeks ago, with additional words by Nick Page, and the music is by the wonderful Unitarian Universalist composer Nick Page, and our soloist today is Deborah Klinger. Choose to Bless the World.
A vivid memory came back to me fairly recently. I have no idea what made me think of it. The memory was from nearly 25 years ago at the church where I did my internship. The church where I did my internship was a UU congregation called Horizon in suburban Dallas. It was a young congregation. It had been founded in 1986 with just a dozen people meeting in the community room of a local library. A year later, they called their first minister with the help of a grant from the Unitarian Universalist Association. And this congregation bloomed, rapidly growing within a decade to 300 members, building their own building. But more importantly, truly serving the religious liberals and quirky free thinkers and religiously bullied children of suburban Dallas. I did my internship there at age 24, serving a congregation younger than I was, a far cry from those churches with dusty ledgers from the Great Depression, to say nothing of the Methuselah of a congregation in which I had grown up, founded in 1638. The biggest way my internship congregation most shaped me was that it taught me that church should be fun and alive and joyful. Which brings me to my memory. When I was there, this congregation had a perpetually happening grocery store coupon book fundraiser. I think the proceeds of it went to the county's equivalent of the Interfaith Council, truly a good cause. Now, if you were to ask me to imagine the most miserable fundraiser possible to imagine, I'd have a hard time of thinking of too many things worse than a perpetually happening grocery store coupon book fundraiser. But surprisingly, it wasn't miserable at all. It had a champion who turned it into a joyous spectacle. She arrived at church each week in a Carmen Miranda-style headpiece. Only instead of tropical fruits, her headpiece was festooned with whatever grocery store items happened to be on sale. Quaker Oats, mini boxes of Cheerios, Doritos, granola bars, fruit roll-ups. She was a party. And every coffee hour she did brisk business. But what amazed me most was her devotion. Every Sunday she was there, coming in long before the first service started to meticulously arrange the groceries on her headpiece, staying until the coffee hour after the second service closed down every week when the weather was nice and when it wasn't, on Easter Sunday and on Labor Day weekend, a model of steadfastness and devotion. In the Christian liturgical tradition, this is the season known as Advent. It is a season of preparation. Not preparation in the sense of decorating, buying gifts, and planning your grocery shopping list, the type of preparation that a lot of us are doing. More like spiritual preparation. When John the Baptist says, "Prepare the way for the coming of the Lord," he's not talking about trail maintenance or fixing potholes. But this morning, I don't want to speak negatively or dismissively of that sort of preparation. This morning, what I want to do is say a good word about the dutiful and devoted work of preparation that is involved in this season at church and within this community during all seasons. Yesterday was the greening, my 12th here at the church. And each year, from my vantage point, I get to witness the preparations as they happen. The first thing that happens is that Barb Chapman arrives, early, very early, pulling a heavy cooler full of eggnog, which Susan McDaniel will serve later at the dinner. I asked Susan, who was sitting right where Dawn was at the first service, how many years in a row have you done this? And lost count. Don Katahdin and Bill Rote were the next to arrive, leading the setup of the community room for the chili supper, setting out tables and chairs and plates and bowls and composting stations and plug-in outlets for the crockpots of chili. You can almost hear John the Baptist, "Make way for the coming of the chili." Michelle and Itano and Kevin Bastian were the next to arrive to get the sanctuary ready for decorating. They were soon joined by Alexa Adamo Valverde, who joined them in continue the tradition of worship associates preparing the sanctuary. Next, tables were set up in the commons, donations arranged for filling gift bags to give to the residents of Homestart, a project Kathy Putnam has steadfastly led for many years. And that's just the greening. This season of preparation includes parents sorting through all the pageant costumes, separating the sheep from the goats. Oh, that didn't get a laugh at the first service either. Well, at least the angels from the shepherds. Involves the choir deep in devotion and preparation for the special choir service on the 21st. And as I've observed for the past 11 years, Christmas Eve really begins when Bonnie Nelson and family arrive to set out candles for Silent Night. But not just this season, it's every season. It's week after week, from Brad Kasiba responding to middle-of-the-night calls to problem-solve some facilities emergency, to Leanne King and her team running the day of service, to Kathleen Farinola leading the church auction, a volunteer role she inherited from Susan Blanchard, who inherited it from Ivy Brazina, who inherited it from Gail McKinley. That's as far as my memory goes back. Kathleen, by the way, is stepping down after the spectacular success of our auction earlier this fall, and I have no doubt that someone will step forward to make that magic happen, white rabbit costume and all. Over the years, Marion Hirsch, our Director of Religious Education, and I have had a recurring conversation in which we bemoan that there is no contemporary adequate word for a concept that used to be called churchmanship. Churchmanship. The term referred to the act of steady devotion and service to the well-being of a congregation. Unfortunately, churchmanship is a horrid word. A beautiful concept, but a horrid word. It's stodgy and sexist as hell, which is especially, doubly, triply ironic, considering that I don't think any congregation in America would exist without the volunteer labor of women. So recently I posed a question on how to rebrand churchmanship. I posed it to a group of my colleagues. I got a lot of suggestions: disciples, devotees, saints, also a little stodgy and maybe kind of cultish. Some suggested steward, which we use often in terms of raising money or serving wine. But the best, thanks for the laughter. I do my best here, all right? The best suggestion that I received was churchcraft, which I rather like because it sounds like witchcraft. Oh, she's over there practicing churchcraft. Oh, he's been practicing churchcraft again. It sounds magical and mysterious. I think of the churchcraft practiced here from Nicole Graysmith leading our middle school group on their field trip to St. Thomas More this morning, to Lori Prentice Dunn and the quilters making their magical artistry, to Joan Shear delivering quilts for the Caring Ministry. I could keep going for the rest of the morning. Churchcraft. Prepare the way for the coming of the middle schoolers. Churchcraft, prepare the way for the coming of the asylum seekers. Churchcraft, prepare the way for the coming of those seeking healing of mind or body or soul. It has been widely commented on how religion in America is in decline. This is not news. Unitarian Universalism is certainly experiencing decline. In this past decade, 78% of UU congregations declined in membership. And in this way, our religious movement is not at all different from Methodists or Baptists or Presbyterians or Lutherans or Episcopalians. But churchcraft is not a dying art here in this congregation. A fun fact: out of every mid-size and large congregation in Unitarian Universalism, not one has grown at the same rate that we have over the past decade. Prepare a way Prepare a way for the coming of the non-binary youth. Prepare a way for the broken-hearted activist. Prepare a way for those longing for community. And while it's no secret that organized religion is in decline, doesn't it sometimes seem like everything is in decline these days? Doesn't it seem that way? It's not just me. A year and a half ago, I went to a lecture by a political scientist named Paul Gronke. Professor Gronke's area of expertise is democracy, and especially he focuses his research on the county election process in the United States. And so he was speaking about what he discovered from doing a massive study of election officials in the United States. And what he found was both amazingly beautiful and also terrifying. I'm simplifying him here. But basically he said, the entire election process in our country really comes down to the professionalism, integrity, diligence, and devotion of somewhere around 20,000 local election officials. That's fewer people than you could fit in. You could fit all of them in the Dean Dome and still have a lot of room to spare, which is amazing because he was describing something that is both an amazing kind of result of human devotion as well as something immensely fragile. That our world is fragile, held up by a smattering of stars and an exuberance of blessings. Paul Gronke wouldn't use the term, but I think about that lecture and I call it democracy craft. Maybe this is not profound. My message this morning, a call to civic engagement, to democracy craft, to community craft, like Rick spoke about in the work of the Interfaith Council, to church craft. But the truth is that nothing comes, neither church nor state nor community, nothing comes to us prefabricated, pre-assembled. Batteries are sold separately. And so the choice is ours, as the choir sang, the choice of how we will bless the world. You must answer that question. What will you do with your gifts? The choir sang. This choice to craft, to create, to assemble, to build. Our closing hymn this morning is a hymn about making preparations. It's a fun hymn to sing, but I chose it for the words, as I often do. There's a line in the first stanza, "Make your house fair, as you are able, trim the hearth and set the table." This morning we give thanks for those who made this sanctuary fair as they were able, who trimmed it, who've set the table for the chilly dinner. We give thanks for those who make this community fair as they are able, trimming the hearth and setting the table. We give thanks for those who work to make our world more fair. Let us sing. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, number 226.
People look east, the time is near of the crowning of the year. Make your house fair as you are able. Trim the hearth and set the table. People look east and sing today. Love the guest is on the way.
us are in your order of service. Please join me if you wish to do so. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Let's take a moment and acknowledge and thank all those who contributed to making the service so special this morning. Now, please join us in singing Shalom. The words are in your order of service. As you are comfortable, please either hold hands with the person next to you or cross your arms over your heart.